Welcome everyone to part 1 of my predictions videos for the upcoming Premier League season. Apologies that I'm splitting this into 2 videos, the other one will be airing on Saturday, but due to work and studying and that kind of thing, I have very little time to edit. So apologies for that. Anyway, on to my predictions. So in 20th I have Aston Villa. I don't see any way Villa stay up this season. Last season I said after the restart that they would stay up just, and I was only proved right because I think Watford sacked Nigel Pearson at completely the wrong time. So I seriously don't think Villa have strengthened properly in the window so far, and I don't think they've got a chance in hell this season of staying up. In 19th I've got Fulham. I think Scott Parker is a decent manager, and him signing a contract of 4 years to Fulham is good, but I don't see them staying up this season. I don't think that they've strengthened properly. They've brought in a lot of players if you've gone to Sky Sports done deals, but I don't think those players are Premier League quality or not enough to make the squad a viable contender to stay up. So in 18th I have Brighton. Now this is the 3rd season in a row I'm actually tipping Brighton to go down. Last 2 seasons I've said that they're going to go down, and I think this season again they're in for a relegation fight. From what I know, Brighton only stayed up last season because of their form at the beginning and the end of the season. They kind of clawed their way up to 44 points. They were pretty comfortable most of the season, but they should have ended a little bit more comfortable than 44. I do think that if Lallana and Mope stay fit, I think they will be a little bit more comfortable, but I don't think Lallana is going to be fit, and therefore I think Brighton's going to suffer and they're in for a scrap. So I think they're going to lose and go down in the relegation zone. In 17th I have West Brom. I chopped and changed West Brom going down or not between them and Brighton quite a few times because I wasn't 100% sure, but I think West Brom are going to be this season's Aston Villa from last season. West Brom will have their patches this season. They will have their purple patches where they get a couple of draws and a couple of wins, but I think they're going to go through a fair few amounts of loss streaks this season. They do not have an easy end to the season either. Their last 2 games are fine, but they are facing the likes of Arsenal, City and Chelsea in their last part of their last 6 matches. So I think they're going to struggle quite a lot, but I think they've got enough to make it through. In 16th I have West Ham. I think West Ham are in trouble this season in my opinion. I do. I think their players, their managers and their owners are on completely different pages with regards to what is best for the club. I mean, all you have to do is look at Mark Noble speaking out about their sale of their young striker to West Brom, and he isn't very happy about it. On their transfers, they've only made one of their loan signings from last season permanent, and everything else they've gotten rid of. I don't think they are doing the right stuff to stay up, unless their players that they bought last season and previous seasons like Halle and Felipe Anderson come to the party. I don't see them really staying up with a whole lot of ease. I think they're going to be scrapping. I do think they'll stay up, but only just. In 15th I've got Crystal Palace. Palace wasn't easy because I feel like they've got a half-decent squad, but they're going to struggle at the beginning of the season due to the amounts of injuries that they have in their defense. At time of recording, they've still got Zaha, but he's been itching for a move for the last 2 years, and I think they're going to struggle without him in the side. They did go and buy Eze from QPR, and I think he'll be okay, but I think he'll struggle and probably won't even hit double figures in the Premier League this season for goals. I am expecting Zaha to leave, which is why I've got Palace for really struggling in 15th. I think there is the potential that they may be only 2 or 3 points ahead of relegation zone next season. But if they keep Zaha and Zaha hits a bit of form, then I think they could be a little bit more comfortable, maybe going up to as far as about 12th or 13th. But even then, I think they're struggling. Now in 14th, I have Sheffield United. Don't get me wrong, I think Chris Wilder is a damn fine manager, and I think he drills his players well and he chooses the right players for his squad. But I think Sheffield are lying to themselves if they think they're going to hit the same heights that they did last season. I think at restart we saw that Sheffield United are not the strongest of teams. They were getting pretty beaten towards the end of the season after restart. And having lost Dean Henderson, I think that's going to be a strong factor in them finishing as low as they are. Don't get me wrong, Aaron Ramsdale is a fine keeper, but he's not Dean Henderson. In 13th I have Burnley. Burnley are a weird bunch for me. They have seasons where they are really looking good. Like last season, they looked really good. They had a few upsets. They finished strongly in 10th. But then you have other seasons where they really just struggle. It seems like they are really going to go down. I really rate Sean Dyche as a manager. I think he's very similar to Chris Wilder, where he is very strong in his squad management and his ability to get the best out of players. They haven't brought in a lot, but they also haven't lost a lot of players. I think the only noticeable loss that I'm very aware of is Jack Hendricks, and even then I'm not sure at how much of an impact that will have on the team. Provided they keep the rest of their defensive line intact, yeah, I think a comfortable 13th place, and they'll knock a couple points of some of the bigger boys too. In 12th, I have Newcastle. Now, this seems a little bit high for Newcastle, I know, but I think this season is going to go one of two ways for Newcastle. The first way I think it could go is a heavy relegation scrap, and they are nearly rock bottom of the league. This is if none of their signings pitch up, if none of their other players do really well, and if Dubravka stays out injured for a majority of the season. However, I do think that Ryan Fraser and Callum Wilson will kick off, and I think they'll form a pretty good partnership with Alan St. Maximin. So I think this will go the second way, which is, yeah, a comfortable 12th with Steve Bruce doing an okay job. I am aware that there is potentially a takeover on the cards, which means they might strengthen in January. But I think this season they'll stay in 12th if nothing else happens with the club. Now in 11th, we've got the last of the promoted teams of Leeds. Quite honestly, I've only got Leeds in 11th for one reason, and that's Bielsa. I think he is a really good manager. I think with Bielsa, they've got a pretty good tactical advantage when it comes to the teams that are below them. I also think that they have the opportunity, or they do have the tactical awareness to basically set up to take some points off some of the bigger boys like your United, your Arsenals, that kind of thing. And I do believe that they can do that, which is why I've got them up in 11. I'm not sold on all of their signings this season. They do not have White like they did last season, which is going to weaken them defensively, and I do hope that they manage to basically fill that gap. And if they do, yes, I think a comfortable 11th is a good spot. So that concludes part 1 of my predictions video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please look out on Saturday for my second part, which goes through from 10th to 1st. I hope to see you guys there.